Today I'm going to be showing you how to bridge to Avalanche, how to take a collateralized loan with a safe loan to value ratio by depositing your crypto blue chip assets and borrowing stable coins against them. And I'm also going to be showing you how to deposit your stable coins in a yield farm currently yielding about 120% APY on stable coins without taking any additional directional exposure in that farm and without any impermanent loss. So I'm going to include timestamps that you can click on to skip around if you don't need more information on how to bridge, or you already have stable coins and you don't need to borrow any against your other digital assets, or if you just want to get directly into the abracadabra.money stablecoin farm. I'll leave timestamps below for all that. So let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to need to do is bridge over. If you go to 8board.finance, you can see a list of the major bridges to Avalanche from the Ethereum mainnet. If you're coming from the Ethereum mainnet and you haven't used Avalanche before, I would very much recommend using the official bridge at bridge.avax.network, because that will allow you to get a small airdrop of Avalanche to help pay for at least one transaction fee. And then if you don't have any Avalanche and you're depending on that airdrop, then I would have your first transaction be a trade on one of the decentralized exchanges on the Avalanche network, such as Trader Joe or Pangolin, so that you can get more Avalanche to pay the gas fees in Avalanche. But you can also transfer from a centralized exchange. You could buy Avalanche on a centralized exchange and then transfer that directly to your Avalanche wallet. Either way is fine. I already have some AVAX on chain, so I'm just going to bridge actually from the Matic chain. I'm going to bridge some wrapped ETH over to Avalanche from Matic. So I'm going to hit transfer, and I believe I already have approved seller to use some of my wrapped ETH. So it should go directly to the transfer request. You might have an additional approval if you have never used or approved this DApp before. I'm going to hit confirm. And I'm going to double check that the address that is displayed on my hardware wallet matches what was said in MetaMask, which it does. So I'm going to confirm that on my hardware wallet. And now that I've confirmed that on my hardware wallet, I just have to wait a couple minutes for that transfer to complete. Now the seller bridge is asking me to release my funds onto Avalanche, which I'm going to do. Okay, we're done. That took about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, 5 to 8 minutes. And now we can go ahead and switch the network over to Avalanche, and let's see if the funds got there appropriately. So we're going to have to import the token address for wrapped Ether in Avalanche. And to do that, I'm going to go to CoinMarketCap, and I'm going to type in wrapped ETH. And then under contracts, I'll click more, the Avalanche chain, copy that, and then open MetaMask, import a token, paste that token, and here we see that I have successfully received my 0.948 wrapped ETH. Now we're going to go over to Aave, and we're going to deposit that wrapped ETH. See here, I already have a very small amount of AVAX that I put in here just to test. But now we're going to take my wrapped ETH, deposit the max amount. Now I will approve Aave spending my wrapped ETH. And as you can see, the AVAX chain, Avalanche chain, is fast and it's pretty cheap. Okay, now that that's been approved, I'm going to deposit. And double check that the address on my hardware wallet matches the address that was displayed on MetaMask and the appropriate contract address, which it does. So I approve that. And now that deposit is pending. And looks like it went through. So now we can look at my dashboard. And after a quick refresh, the wrapped ETH has showed up. So now I will be able to borrow against my collateral assets. And just go back to the dashboard real quick. You see that there is a little green or red button that you can click to determine whether you want to use these assets as collateral. So obviously I don't have very much AVAX in here. I'm going to have to use this ETH as collateral. And then up here it will display your loan to value ratio, and it'll give you a health factor, which dynamically adjusts based on the pricing of your collateral and the price of whatever you borrow, considering you can borrow more than just stablecoins. And go ahead and look at the market, because like I said, this Abracadabra money farm, it just launched since I started recording this video about 10 minutes ago. It's gained about $9 million in value, bringing the yield down to 150%. Like I said, this is across many different chains. It's a very popular protocol, and they've allocated a lot of their native token spell to this pool. So we're going to want to get in on it, and in order to do that, we're going to have to deposit either USDT, USDC, or MIM, which is Abracadabra's stablecoin magic internet money. Looking at Aave, which does not yet have support for MIM, we can borrow a few different stablecoins. And since I started recording this video, I believe it was at 11%. Now the borrow rate for Tether has increased a lot, because of the demand to borrow Tether has increased a lot in the last few minutes, because people are doing what I'm doing right now and borrowing Tether in order to deposit it into this factory to gain this yield in the spell token. So these markets are very dynamic and they can adjust rapidly. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow DAI. I'm going to swap that on Curve for either Tether or USDC, whatever is the better slippage. And then I'm going to deposit that into the pool, because as you can see, I can get a much lower rate on DAI. So that's what we're going to go ahead and borrow. So we're going to go to the borrow tab. We're going to click DAI. And how much could I borrow? If you want to be an absolute degen, you can max out your health factor, but if there's a market correction and the value of your collateral goes down, that would get you liquidated, which you don't want to happen. So I'm gonna go on the safer side and maybe borrow about 1,000 DAI just to just to start with. And select the variable APY of 7.9%. We're going to go ahead and complete this. Confirm that on the hardware wallet. Okay. And you'll see I've got it right here. Go back to my dashboard. And with a quick refresh, it updates, showing you your health factor, the percentage of the borrow power used, the assets you borrow. This ticks up in real time with the interest, and then this as well ticks up in real time with the returns you're getting. So Aave is a really cool protocol. It's a staple of the DeFi landscape. Now we're going to go over to Curve, and we're going to turn those DAI into stablecoin that we can put into this pool. Okay, so USDC will do. I'm going to go ahead and sell my DAI for some USDC. And note, the reason I'm doing this is because the pool that we need to be in, the MIM pool, it only includes Magic Internet Money, USDT, and USDC as the stable coins. So cannot put DAI into there. Okay, so allow Curve to spend my DAI. I'm going to confirm. And verify on my hardware wallet. Okay, so confirm that and the transaction. And you'll see that we have the USDC balance there. Okay, so here is the factory pool. Basically, a factory is just a pool that a protocol has created on the Curve protocol. Just because a DeFi app has a factory on Curve doesn't necessarily mean that it's trusted, but we trust Curve and we trust Abracadabra.money, and Magic Internet Money is a very popular stable coin, and they have launched successfully on many other protocols. So we're going to go ahead and deposit all of our USDC into here so that we can get this LP token. Going to approve this. And on the hardware wallet as well. And now I'm going to approve the contract interaction. Wait for that transaction to go through. Okay, now that add liquidity went through, so I'm going to add the LP token to my MetaMask so I can see that. And you'll see that I have some LP tokens with a little bit of slippage, but we only lost a few dollars to slippage, so that's not so bad. Now, with this LP token, I can take this and I can go to the farm page on Abracadabra.money, and I can add to, you can see, wow, like, I mean, just since I started filming this video, almost $20 trillion or $20 million of liquidity has been added. So this is definitely growing very fast on this chain, and the more people get into this farm, the lower the returns get. So but I have farmed this on multiple chains before, and it's been pretty consistent above 25, usually around 30 to 35 And it all depends on how many people are in the pool and how many spell are being emitted to the stakers of this LP token, and then what the value of that spell is. So since there are spell constantly being emitted, there's a sell pressure on the token. However, there's a revenue share component of the spell token, so you can actually lock up your spell token on certain chains and then get a percentage of the revenue that this abracadabra money protocol actually generates. So I personally will be farming and dumping the spell token because I believe that in the medium to short term there will be a lot of emissions of the token, and that will create enough downwards price pressure to make it not an attractive thing to hold, because there will be people doing exactly what I'm doing, which is farming this and then selling it. But if other people go buy the token or hold on to their token, then the price may appreciate, which would increase this return. So here I'm just going to stake the maximum amount of the LP tokens. I'm going to confirm that and confirm it on my hardware wallet as well. And there we go. Now this is just a few minutes later. You can see that our spell is ticking up and the farm is working just as intended. As I said, I'm going to be periodically harvesting this spell, selling the spell for most likely stablecoins to re-add to this pool so that I can compound my returns. But if you would like me to get into a deeper dive of the abracadabra.money protocol, the MIM stablecoin, or the spell token and its tokenomics, that's something that I can for sure do. But thank you for watching, and happy money printing.